You ever feel like your sleep schedule just has a mind of its own? You want to go to bed early, but your brain is just totally wired for that late night scroll or one more episode. It's such a frustrating cycle. But what if I told you there's a science backed way to actually take back control without all the usual terrible advice? So, let's talk about someone we can all probably relate to. This is Mike. Mike is stuck in a loop. He's hitting the hay around 3 a.m. every single night, even though he desperately wants to be a 10 p.m. person. He wants to change, but how do you even start? Well, he gets the most common piece of advice out there. Just pull an all-nighter. You know the drill. Stay awake for one full day and night, then just go to bed at your new, earlier time. Sounds simple, right? Well, as Mike's about to find out, this popular quick fix is an absolute recipe for disaster. Okay, let's get into it. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down exactly why that all-nighter is such a flawed idea. Then we're going to explore the two critical biological factors that are really running your sleep schedule. And finally, we'll put it all together into a sustainable plan that works with your body, not against it. All right, so Mike commits. To get from his 9 a.m. wake-up time all the way to a 10 p.m. bedtime the next day, he's got to stay awake for 37 hours straight. He's armed with coffee, energy drinks, video games. He thinks he's ready. So here's how it plays out. It's a total train wreck, but a predictable one. Mike powers through his usual 3 a.m. bedtime, fueled by caffeine. But then, after 26 hours of being awake, something powerful just takes over. He crashes for what he thinks is going to be a quick 30-minute nap, and wakes up 8 hours later. His schedule isn't just broken, it's now even worse than when he started. But here's the real kicker. Even if Mike had somehow miraculously made it the full 37 hours, it wouldn't have worked in the long run. An all-nighter is a temporary fix because it completely ignores the two powerful biological systems that are actually running the show. So, to really understand what went wrong, we need to meet the first system Mike was fighting against, your body's internal clock. You've probably heard of it. It's called the circadian rhythm. Now, this isn't just some vague concept. It's like a real physical pacemaker deep inside your brain. It's the master conductor that dictates when you feel sleepy and when you feel alert, by controlling things like your body temperature and, most importantly, the release of specific hormones. And there are two main players here. In the evening, your brain starts pumping out melatonin, the hormone of darkness, which is the signal that it's time to wind down. Then, in the morning, your melatonin levels drop, and cortisol, the wake-up hormone, surges, making you feel alert and ready for the day. So what controls this clock? Well, to figure that out, we have to go way back to this really fascinating experiment from 1938. Two researchers sealed themselves inside Mammoth Cave, Kentucky, living in total darkness for over a month. They wanted to know, without the sun, would our internal clock just fall apart? And what they found was incredible. First, they discovered that humans absolutely have our own internal rhythm. It wasn't random at all. But second, and this is the really crucial part, they discovered that our internal cycle isn't exactly 24 hours long. In fact, the average human body clock runs a little bit longer, at about 24 hours and 15 minutes. This is a huge reason why it always feels easier to stay up a little later than it does to force yourself to go to bed earlier. We all have this natural biological tendency to drift later and later. So, if our clock is naturally a bit off, how do we stay in sync with the world? Well, we reset it every single day using external cues. Sunlight is by far the most powerful signal, but your brain also uses things like consistent meal times, exercise, and even regular social interaction to wind your 24-hour and 15-minute clock back to a perfect 24 hours. Okay, on to the second factor. This is called sleep pressure, and it's the key to understanding why Mike crashed and burned so spectacularly. So, sleep pressure is caused by a chemical in your brain called adenosine. From the very moment you wake up, adenosine starts building. Think of it like sand filling up an hourglass. The longer you're awake, the more of it accumulates, and the stronger and stronger your desire for sleep becomes. So after about 12 to 16 hours of being awake, those adenosine levels have peaked, and they create this irresistible urge to go to sleep. This is your body's natural sleep drive, and it is incredibly powerful. Now, here's where caffeine comes in. Caffeine doesn't actually give you energy. Now, what it does is it hijacks the adenosine receptors in your brain. It basically puts on earmuffs so your brain can't hear the sleepiness signal anymore. It's a clever trick. And this is the exact trap that Mike fell into. See, while the caffeine was blocking the signal, that adenosine just kept on building up in the background, silently. So when his body finally processed the caffeine, the floodgates opened. He was hit with not just hours of built-up sleep pressure, but all the extra adenosine that accumulated while the caffeine was active. That, right there, is the caffeine crash. And this is exactly why that late afternoon coffee is such a bad idea. Caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 8 hours. That means if you have a coffee at 2 p.m., half of that caffeine could still be in your system, actively blocking your sleep pressure when you're trying to fall asleep at 10 p.m. Okay, so we know all-nighters are a bust. They fail because they fight against our circadian rhythm and our sleep pressure. So what is the right way to do it? Let's build a plan for Mike that actually works with his biology. Okay, first, and this is the big one, no more all-nighters. It's just not going to work. Second, instead of a dramatic jump, you shift your entire routine. Your bedtime, your meals, your exercise, just 15 minutes earlier each day. It's a gentle nudge. Third, get bright sunlight the moment you wake up. Seriously, it's the most powerful reset button you have. Fourth, do the opposite at night. Dim the lights, avoid screens, let that melatonin rise naturally. Fifth, cut off all caffeine at least 8 hours before your desired bedtime. You want that sleep pressure to build. And finally, number 6, get enough sleep. If you can, let your body wake up without an alarm so it can fully clear out all that adenosine. So, the bottom line is this. Fixing your sleep isn't about one heroic, sleepless night. It's about understanding the two systems at play, your body clock and your sleep pressure, and then making small, consistent adjustments to your entire day to guide them where you want them to go. Light is your best friend in the morning, and caffeine is a tricky frenemy you have to manage carefully. And that really leaves us with a final question, because this is about more than just sleep. It's about the powerful and often invisible impact of our daily habits. So take a hard look at your day. Is your routine setting you up for success, or are you accidentally fighting a battle against your own biology?